back again. I mean, who would believe it? We're already halfway through our session, but you are listening to the IBGR.network. Well, IBGR is our call sign as a radio station, but as I keep saying, we are much more than a radio station because we are a network. Well, I am your host, Jan Robberts, Global Influencer, and this is episode 3 already of the new season 3, and that's why these numbers come from. If you're looking for the show notes, P1033. And the title of this one is There's No Impact in Your Comfort Zone. Get out! It doesn't say that, I just emphasize it a little. But it's in our P1 People Lane. People Skills for Success at IBGR.network. And I keep repeating it because today I can, last week I couldn't. Go to our website at IBGR.network and download the show notes. Oh, I said it right again, Arthie. I'm getting there. Practice makes perfect. Oh no, I forgot that practice doesn't make perfect, people. Practice makes permanent, because if you do something wrong, it doesn't make it any better when you keep doing the same thing. Just a little extra for you. You know, that wisdom sometimes falls out of my mouth without me knowing it. My brain flows over. But we're now going to go and point number 4, which is something that so many people have. And it's talking about eliminate fear. Ooh. Your mind can work for you or against you. You have absolutely 100% control of how you think. However, you cannot leave it to chance. It has to be by choice. I should really repeat everything I've just said because it is so important. But what we need to realize is we cannot leave things, however your mind works, we cannot leave what comes into it by chance. It has to be by choice. You know, we have 100% control over it. Now, I should actually say we should have 100% control over it because we often give so much of the control away. I mean, how many times do you hear people complaining and about everything that's wrong and everybody they blame? Now, once you blame other people for the circumstances you're in, once you blame other people for anything that's wrong with you, you have just given a lot of that control away. Because I love the saying, you're either at the table or on the table. You know, think about that. But if you don't make your choices for your life, somebody else will. And they have nothing in store for you, by the way. So if you don't proactively program your mind to work for you, then by default, it will subconsciously start to work against you. I could repeat everything I'm going to say just now. I'm even impressing myself here. If you are not making your own choices because you are fearful, as I just said, someone else will, and thus decide your life, your journey, your destiny. The little voice, the little voice in the back of your head. Yes, we've all got them. We've been through that before. No, I haven't. Yes, you have. That little voice will come up with 1,000 reasons why your new endeavor will fail. It's dangerous. Shouldn't be repeated. Who do you think you are? Should be avoided. The record plays on, and you need to pause it. You need to put a big scratch on it. Now, many of you don't know how you could put a scratch on a record. That was these black discs. My parents had a music shop many years ago in the Netherlands. But you could throw them out of the window. You should throw them out of the window, that record, as a frisbee. They're coming back in now because it's all this. I don't know. There's a name for it, and it escapes me just now. But it's all this old stuff coming back. There is a name for that, and if you'll know it. But Wilson's primary intention is to protect you, to keep you safe from danger. It will fundamentally impact your ability to stretch your comfort zone. Here we go again, stretching. The exciting news is when you take action, you'll soon realize you've underestimated your capability and overestimated potential obstacles. So I'm going to repeat this part though. When you take action, you'll soon realize you've underestimated your capabilities and overestimated potential obstacles. You'll turn inaction into action. Procrastination will be a thing of the past, and that's where fear really builds up when you do nothing. You know, you start imagining things, and we all have a vivid imagination. I know that. I certainly have. But no longer will your mind sabotage or derail your future success. And you can read more on this topic because there is so much available on this particular topic. So we need to really do that. But I'll help you a little bit because there are some fears that you need to face. And I wonder which ones they are. Is it the fear of failure? Is it the fear of trading security for the unknown? Is it the fear of being overextended on resources and time? And if you're building a business, quite often both of them are happening as well. But is it the fear that it will happen? Is it the fear of what others think? People, don't ever let other people's opinion of you become your reality. It's one of my friend and mentors, Les Brown's quotes, and I love that guy. I mean, he's one of my long-time heroes. I said more than 30 years ago, if somebody's ever going to teach me to speak, it's going to be Les Brown or nobody, and be very careful what you hope for. That's a whole different subject as well, what you talk into existence. But also the fear of pushing others away. Because if you're going to do something different, something outside of the comfort zone of what your friends are doing, they might not like it because it's like crabs in a bucket. They try to grab you back. Stay with us, because otherwise it makes them feel uncomfortable, because they know that we're all equal and nobody's any better, but they see you doing better things that might make a lot of people uncomfortable. Well, it is what it is. But if they feel uncomfortable because you're doing something, keep doing what you're doing. But the question is, which emotion is stronger? Your desire to grow, your desire to develop a flourishing business, or one of the fears I just mentioned? There is a book that just comes to mind there. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I can't just remember the author, but there is a book, and you can check it out. It might come to me later and I'll let you know, but it's amazing, and that's what we need to do. There is fears, of course, everybody's got apprehensions of that, but do it anyway. I said action eliminates fear. Number 5 is the performance zone, and I said it already, but uncomfortable action will lead to incredible results. So through stretching and pushing the boundaries, testing new ideas, failing fast and recovering quickly, discovering what works and bottling it so you can replicate it again, that's a whole lot of stuff. You will naturally step outside your comfort zone and operate in the space I call the performance zone. The zone where you deliver incredible results, the zone where you just make stuff happen. It is a zone where you become more conscious and deliberate in your thinking, feeling and actions. Now, I'm glad, because I borrowed some of this stuff from the previous person who was there before I sat in the driving seats, and I'm grateful for it, because I don't need to find I don't need to reinvent the wheel, and I don't need to find it all, but I love this stuff, so I borrowed some of this and put my own stuff in there, of course, which will happen more and more until next season, of course, because you, by the questions you ask and that orange button, you will decide what we do next season, what we talk about next season, and that is going to stretch us even more. So please, put us on the rack and stretch us. Ask questions. But there's the difference between a winner and a whiner. I put that in there because it's wonderful, actually. And the whiner wants to feel good before they do something. A winner does something good and then they feel. A winner does something and then they feel good. Now that's important, because if you have to get out of the comfort zone, don't start complaining about all the stuff. Do stuff. Eventually. It is actually something I heard a long time ago. If you do something that you love to do and you'll do it for free, eventually you do it so well that people want to pay you for it. But that does not come from whining. That does come from being a winner. You're a winner, not a whiner. The winner understands that the right emotions follow the right actions. They don't come before that. Always have, always will. Emotions will never stimulate you for action, but right actions always gives you the return of right emotions. I mean, imagine when you start doing stuff, and eventually, at first it's uncomfortable, you're struggling, and you might even be fearful yet, but things start to work a bit. You fail a few times, you fall down, you learn from it, you carry on the next day. But eventually, you start seeing results, and it's getting exciting. You can hardly sleep now. You don't need an alarm clock when you do things you're passionate about. You don't need an alarm clock for something that makes an impact on other people. You don't need an alarm clock when you follow your destiny. Who needs an alarm clock right now? This has to be intentional, and it will sometimes be uncomfortable. Do it anyway. Don't ever become a whiner, as every time you do, your performance will suffer and diminish. That's when you're on that slippery slope downhill. You're not climbing to success, you're sliding away from it. And then number 6 is self-fulfillment. Satisfaction of achievement. I like that. Like climbing your own Mount Everest. You know, there's so many people wake up every day with that aching feeling of underachievement, the realization that they're not quite living their life to the fullest. We have zero control of the length of our lives, but we have 100% control over the breadth and depth of it. Whew, I love that. And because I love that, I know there was a saying of it, and I love that one as well. What it really says is exactly what I'm now going to tell you. It's not the years in your life that count, but the life in your years. You know, and that is very important. I mean, it's once read a book. It's called The Dash, and if you know what the dash is, it's on a gravestone you've got when you were born and when you die. It's that bit in between is important, which is exactly what this is like. I talked about legacy before as well. That people want to die when they die. They want to leave a legacy. Why don't you live your legacy? Why don't you go and do things now? And yes, that means that you might have to get out. No, that means that you have to get out of your comfort zone, because you don't make a legacy when you're living in your comfort zone. So get out. So there are people who only live a short life, but who've achieved so much more than the vast majority of people who live a life to a ripe old age. Growth, forward momentum and rhythm, a newfound level of productivity, and shaping your own performance zone all lead to your pathway of self-fulfillment and a feeling of finding your own groove in life. You'll create a new source of extreme satisfaction. Now, I talk a lot about significance and success, but it very much comes down to what your purpose is, your passion, your destiny. You have to find your why. Man, this is already the third session just about over. So what we're going to do now, if you've listened before, we're going to take a short 2 to 3 minute break, but there's more to come. So when we return, we will talk a little bit more about your comfort zone and what it's all about, so don't go away. Join us, become a member of our Insiders Network by going to our website and clicking the Join Us link, and connect and interact with us on social media. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram and Twitter at ibgr.network. I will be back soon. Don't go away.